Okay, back with a little update. Cell's been running for 31 days worth of charges, one a day. Started off at 97, sort of went down a little bit and sort of started to increase. This is the milliamp hour column. And then down around here at 18, it sort of took a big drop. What happened was the alligator clip on the graph foil started to punch holes through the graph foil. So I put a piece of copper pad up the top. So you can sort of see in there, the copper pad's starting to get some bluish colour around the clip. And over here, well, from 18 and 19, and then the copper pad went on here, we've got an increase in power again, going back up. Well, I think we peaked out at, on a charge of 5 hours and 45 minutes, 127 milliamp hours, 105 milliwatt hours. And then right here sort of took a little bit of a nosedive down a bit. It's down in its run time, only 5 hours and 56 minutes. I think is due to the copper pad getting dirty, so I'm going to take that off and give it a clean and then give it a charge up today and see what happens. So the cell's looking good. It's around about 10 watt hours per kilo with that carbon, going by the milliwatt hours here, and the amount of active material, not including the cement, only counted the graphite and the carbon. Probably the graphite is not really included, it's just to help with conductivity. Okay, I'll clean that pad and see if it's going back to this sort of, it should run around about 6 hours and 20 minutes at 20 milliamps. Okay, so that's the side of the copper pad that was touching the graph foil, so you can see it is dirty. The electrolyte climbs up the graph foil somehow. Always climbs, look, you can see it climbs out of the cell. It's hard to keep the electrolyte in the cell. Even on the old ones, when they dry out, creeps up. Alright, so I'll give that a clean up and we'll get back to charging and discharging. I'll get to 50 I think and then report back. Okay, that's the cell's discharge voltage after overnight. So it was charged up, discharged, and then left overnight, so it's at 0.8 of a volt. Just setting up a charge now and connecting the power supply. Okay, so that cleaning that copper pad sent that up pretty well. It doesn't normally peak at 700 milliamps on the same voltage. Peaks around about 400 and then starts dropping, so cleaning the contact worked, I think. A discharge will show the true nature of it, but it was pretty dirty, so it would have been hard to get energy out of it. So issues still with electrolyte creeping up onto the contacts, which is very annoying. I guess in a sealed cell probably may not have that, but I reckon it probably get past silicon. Haven't tried it, but I think it might. Okay, back at 33 charges and discharges now. We're slightly down here because the copper little pad keeps getting dirty. I cleaned all that off the other day and I think it's just wicking up there. I put a new one on there now. That's the zinc plate we had. For size comparison, that's a piece of graphite pad, so it's about 40. And that's been in there for at least over 4 months of recharging of various cells, and there's no sign of it damaged, so that's all right. But to buy the zinc plate is quite costly, and to get a bigger one to make a larger battery is quite costly. So on the next, I'm gonna keep the cathode as it is from this experiment, replacing this with one I made. This is nickel wire. What I did to make this was I started off with some nickel wire in this sort of shape. Then I ran some nickel wire up to form a little mesh grid. I wrapped it around there. And then I ran some this way. Made like little 5mm squares by twisting. Then twist that one, then twist that one, then twist that one. And work your way up. And then you get all of the end pieces here. So that's the end of the cell. But down here, just bend them all over towards the middle. And twist them to form a larger piece of wire. So, because the 0.5mm nickel wire doesn't draw a lot of current off of one piece if you just have one strand coming up. So that's why I made the little twisty. So we should be able to get current well out of there. And I soldered a piece of wire on there. So hopefully electrolyte won't crawl up to an alligator clip. Need some smaller heat shrink, but oh well, that's sort of on there. In the next, oh well, that's it for this video. I'll post this one. In the next video we'll describe what this is, well, just for a heads up. It's 1.5 grams of zinc hexacyanide, 3.5 grams of zinc powder, 2.55 grams of graphite, 5 grams of carbon, 4 grams of cement. I did have to add 10 grams of water there. And mixing this, when I added the water, it got quite warm, so there was an exothermic reaction going on due to maybe the zinc powder and water, I'm not sure. But it got hot. Yeah, it wasn't warm, it was hot. Alright, so I'll do a shot of the results so you can see what its power output was. Oh, piece of paper. Okay, so these are the columns. Mine were writing. And continued. So I'll put a little mark here where I changed the cathode anode and continue.